Chapter 141 to 146. Mikoto and I decided to hold a mock combat battle with Shizu's students. To be honest, either Mikoto or I could win against these kids without breaking much of a sweat. So why did she suggest that we should both team up against them? Well, for one, I don't think the kids would take it too well to win under such unfair conditions solo. It would be a little better if it seemed like I had to get some help. And it's not like I could sit this one out either. As much as it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, this is mostly all about me. I'm the one that promised Shizue to save the kids, and I'm the one that took steps to fulfill that promise. Therefore, I should be the one to finish this. At least, that's what I'm getting from Mikoto's thought process. She's prideful and wouldn't feel happy if she just finished my work for me. It would be like stealing the spotlight. Again, that's her thought process. In all honesty, I don't mind someone else taking my work and finishing it. I mean, that means less work for me, so. As for why Mikoto want to join me? Spark. Mikoto, now then, I wonder how strong these brats are. Do you really think that Mikoto would want to sit something like this out? As for Ilya, the kids believe that she is her age, so they trust her more than me, so she's not fighting. Although I reverted back to my normal form, so I look more like a teenager, but they don't care. Should I bust out my cool guy form again? Ilya, start. Oops, now is not the time. First, Kenya immediately rushes forward while drawing out his sword. Flame coats the blade, leaving a trail of embers in the air. Looking behind him, the other students aren't moving. It seems they agreed to only go one at a time. Heh. They're looking down on us. Mikoto, only you? Mikoto asks Kenya while stepping forward. Kenya, I'm strong enough. I'll win this myself. Mikoto, not a good decision. She raises her hand with two fingers pointing towards Kenya. She flicks upwards her fingers, causing small sparks of electricity to appear on Kenya's sword. The sword then proceeds to fly out of his grasp into the air. Kenya what dash. His sword easily falls into Mikoto's hand as she catches it out of the air by its grip. Mikoto, a small suggestion. I saw how you use this sword as a method to channel your flames. Don't limit yourself to just that. Mikoto playfully says while inspecting the edge of the sword in her hand. Kenya, shut up. Shizu-sensei's techniques are the best. Mikoto, but Shizue didn't just light her sword on fire and swing it around, did she? True. Shizue was fused with the greater spirit Ifrit, she could do a lot more than wave around a sharp flaming stick. Kenya glares at Mikoto with eyes that threaten to spill tears and clenches his fist. He then turns around to his comrades and shouts. Kenya, you guys. Help me out a bit. Alice, yar, you're hopeless, aren't you? Alice says while shrugging with a teasing smile. Kenya, shut up. This old hag stole my sword. Oh fuck. Mikoto, old hag. Rimuru, Mikoto, calm down. I try to placate an angry Mikoto who thankfully listens. In the meantime, the other four students stand beside Kenya and prepare their own attacks. Gale gathers his yellow magicules into his palms and forms energy bolts, ready to fire at a moment's notice. Ryota lowers his body as he slowly circulates magicules within his body. He's more of a berserker, surprisingly. He can increase his physical abilities, but he loses his rationality. Because of this, he won't use it yet. Chloe holds up the picture book she always carries. I'm not entirely sure, but it seems she's using it as a temporary medium to cast magic. Alice takes out some toy plushies from under her long hair. I swear every anime character has a hammer space behind their back or some shit. She throws those dolls into the air and they begin floating. If I remember correctly, she's some kind of puppet master. As for Kenya, he just stands there. Kenya, can I have my sword back? Mikoto, Yeah, sure. Mikoto casually controls the sword to fly over to Kenya, embedding itself into the ground at his feet. Without any drama, he takes the sword out of the ground and points it towards us. Looking at them, I can hear the Avengers theme song in the background. Mikoto and I look at them with amused smiles on our faces. Rimuru. Shall we? Mikoto, we shall. I then proceed to dash forward towards the students, while Mikoto waves her hand as electricity sparks around her body and the ground near her. Iron sand begins to gather around her before they shoot towards the students next to me. I mean, Mikoto can't use her lightning here. It's fucking lightning, you can't expect the kids to dodge that shit. Gale throws his energy bolts forward with enough force to break through a magically reinforced wall, and Ryota goes berserk, causing his eyes to turn red and a green aura to surround him, giving him a powerful, feral feel. Kenya raises his sword, lighting it on fire again. Regardless of Mikoto's advice, it's not like he can learn how to utilize fire outside of what he's used to mid-battle. He begins swinging his sword, sending waves of scorching flames towards me. Alice controls her puppets to rush forward and hinder my movements. The puppets move with such speeds that would have caused trouble to your veteran B-rank adventurer. If she were controlling something more lethal, she would have easily become a one-man army even if she doesn't have a unique skill. As for Chloe, she begins chanting. A blue magic circle forms on her book. Water gathers around her, flowing smoothly through the air like she's creating art. But that just shows how much control she has over her spell. It's something even a veteran magician would find hard to do. The tendrils of water shoot off towards me. If the runes on the magic circle are correct, this is the same water prison skill she used in the anime. It would trap me in a sphere of water before she could choose to shred my body with blades of water. Like a blender. What a fearsome child, and if I remember correctly, her talent lies in swordsmanship as well as magic. A magic swordsman, in other words. All of these kids are powerful, it's not good to underestimate them, especially with my restricted physical stats from my limiter ring. I reach the students, and the iron sand protects me from anything I choose not to avoid. I trust Mikoto. Rimuru, shall I have some fun? I say with a grin. Mikoto matches my grin from behind me, and Ilya just facepalms. Ranga is just being Ranga, fanboying over me. And so we proceeded to beat the shit out of all of them. I'm joking. We still won though. It's been a week since the students had a mock battle with me and Mikoto. Needless to say, we floored them. They couldn't even touch our clothes. And that's saying something, since I have pretty fluttery clothes that make me look cool. Mikoto's clothes aren't that fluttery, so they had an even harder time with her. Physically, I'm overall better than Mikoto. I'm a fucking origin slime, a race on par with true dragons. Obviously, I'm better, especially since she's only human. No wait, she evolved into an enlightened not that long ago. It's the next stage from human, with Saint being the final stage after that. It's similar to the monster's evolution stages of Majin, Demon Lord, Seed, and finally True Demon Lord. A/N, enlightened is also known as sage, it depends on the translation. To become an enlightened, some grueling training is needed, but... Well, Mikoto is strong enough as it is, and with her unique skill, Limit Breaker, she smoothly passed into that stage. In fact, if not for Ilya letting me know, I would have never realized it. I wonder how strong she is now. Anyway, I'm going off topic. It's been a week since the mock battle with the students and we crushed them. Ilya mercilessly ended the battle once 10 minutes passed and Mikoto and I had to spend the next 10 minutes after that trying to calm the kids down and prevent them from crying. Neither of us is good at handling kids. We have no clue what the fuck to do other than speak softly and stuff like that. While I was comforting Chloe, she calmed down pretty quickly though, I don't know why. Thankfully, Ilya saved us and cheered up the rest of the kids for us. After that, I reaffirmed my promise to save them once they calmed down, and that finally got them to trust us. Over the week, I'd like to think we got much closer. Right now, we are all sitting on a large hill overlooking the Ingrassia royal capital from afar. The clouds are scarce and the cool wind blows gently over us, holding back the heat from the mid-noon sun. It's neither too hot nor too cold. The perfect temperature. Ilya and I are teaching them how to play magic chess by demonstrating a game. It's a game I invented. Rimuru, it's basically like normal chess. You start, Ilya. Ilya, alright, I move pawn to d5. Ilya says as she moves her piece. She then turns to the students watching to the side. Ilya, see, the rules are just like normal chess, dash. Rimuru, you activated my trap card. Ilya, well, I sunk your battleship. Rimuru, I roll nat 20 and cast magic missile while adopting your goblin tribe. Ilya, I attack with my vanguard, hitting 2 critical triggers on my drive check. Rimuru, I tap my mirror battle sphere and deal 8 damage to your face, no wait, to your squirtle. Mikoto, isn't this supposed to be chess? Mikoto interjects as confusion and excitement cloud the students' faces. However, Ilya and I are in a very engaging battle of wits, so I have no room to respond. Rimuru, damn it. I'm in a tight spot. I mutter to myself as I stare at the chessboard with an intense stare, thinking of all the possibilities I could use to get out of this situation. Ilya, now move your last pathetic piece, Oniai-chan. Suddenly, I get an idea. A way to win. I smirk. Rimuru, my board has no pathetic pieces. But it does have the unstoppable Exodia. A miniature Exodia illusion appears over the chessboard. Ilya, impossible. No one's ever been able to summon him. Mikoto, okay now, we're just straight up playing Yu-Gi-Oh! She got the reference. Rimuru, and that's checkmate. Ilya, I lose. I had no idea Oniai-chan was this good at playing chess. Ilya pouts as her eyes glisten with tears. Rimuru, humph. As I said, you have much to learn, my dear little sister. I say as I head pat Ilya with a kind smile. She was a good opponent. Ilya wipes her eyes with her sleeve and looks up at me. Ilya, really? Rimuru Umu. A/N, this was all a no game, no life in 7 minutes reference. It's a fucking funny video, look it up on YouTube. It was made by Giguk. Meanwhile, Mikoto is wondering what the fuck just happened while the students are looking excitedly, eager to play the game. They still don't know how to play it though. It's very complicated. Ranga is sleeping a little bit away in a smaller form as Shizu is sleeping on his fur on top of him, both of them curled up. Ranga was introduced to the kids not long after the mock battle, and although they were a bit scared, they quickly took a liking to him. Both Shizu and Ranga still argue every now and again though. Rimuru. Universal Sense picked up a large Magicule signature rapidly approaching. Mikoto also senses it as we both look in the direction opposite of the city. Kenya, Rimuru-sensei, what's wrong? Kenya voices the question in the other students' minds. They all look worriedly at our weird actions. Well, unfortunately, perception isn't my strong suit. I can sense that a large mass of Magicless is approaching, but it's over a couple of 100 kilometers away. I can't tell exactly what it is unless it gets closer. Well, it's moving at such speeds that I should be able to tell what it is within 10 seconds or so. Rimuru. It's coming. I just wanted to say that for the heck of it. Roaer. A feral roar enters our ears, one that inspires fear in all beings that can hear it. It's the roar of an apex predator. A dragon. Well, not that I give two shits about it. A simple rune can also protect the kids and the whole city behind me from the fierce status effect that roar would have. They still heard it though. Rimuru, Ilya. I say with a serious voice as I stare at the horizon, a black dot rapidly approaching. Ilya, it's a sky dragon. A sky dragon? Didn't one of those appear in the original series too? Alice, a dragon. Gale, here. Ryota, what do we do? The students begin panicking slightly. However, before anything else happens, Mikoto places her hand on Alice's head, who was the closest to her. Mikoto, don't worry, I can handle it easily. But before she could do anything else. Rimuru, no. Let me handle this one. I say with a smile. Mikoto, you want to handle this? Rimuru, yeah. I mean, it's a dragon. Killing one of them is a fucking dream come true. The dot on the horizon is fast approaching. Mikoto nods and steps back while I take out Yamato from my gluttony stomach and slowly unsheath it. I drop the scabbard to the ground and hold Yamato's grip with both hands, raising it over my head. I deactivate the limiter rings effect, returning my full powers just for this strike. My Magicules explode, creating a silver aura that reaches dozens of meters high, wildly flaring with enough force that every magic-sensitive human in the city easily sensed it and proceeded to shit their pants in terror. The kids were spared from this. Asterisk Roa Air. Asterisk. The dragon roars again. This time, it's even louder. You can see its figure with the naked eye now. It's a large western dragon, but its build is rather thin, obviously prioritizing speed over defense and strength. The speed it's flying at causes the wind to pressurize in front of it. It's colored entirely black, but you can see its menacing yellow eyes. Rimuru, take a good look, kids. This is a fraction of your sensei's true strength. I didn't need to say that, but if I can score some more cool points, I might as well, right? My aura disperses, or rather, it gets absorbed into the blade. It shines with a silver light. Rimuru, hap. With a shout, I swing Yamato down. Suddenly, all sound disappears. The rapidly approaching dragon, the shouts of soldiers from the city as they prepare for battle, all of it is gone. Shing. Only the sound of the blade as it cuts through the air and the fabrics of space itself could be heard. The sky then splits in two vertically. Although it's thin, you can see the darkness of the empty void as space no longer has a hold over that area. However, like a dream, the space immediately mends back together and stabilizes under my spatial ruler, unique skill. And the dragon? It was swallowed by the void, disappearing forever. Yamato's scabbard rises from the ground into my open hand as I sheath its blade. Click. The hilt hits the scabbard and the sounds return. But even so, no one said anything. Rimuru banishing shift. I whisper. A move inspired by the protagonist of Shin Mai Mao, Basara Tuju. His banishing shift could banish anything into the zero-dimension space. I just replaced that zero dimension with the void found between worlds. Sure, it's overkill, but that was fucking awesome. However, while Rimuru was celebrating inwardly, he missed the complicated emotion lingering in Makoto's eyes as she stared at Rimuru's back. The Farmus Kingdom. It's a decently large kingdom, one with reasonable military strength too. It also holds lots of political power through the Western nations. Why? That's because it's the only country with a route connected to the armed nation of Dworgen. Because of this, it has a monopoly on all Dworgen-made products. Dworgen is a nation known for its military might as well as its high-quality products and advanced techniques, and Farmus is the only country that has a steady supply of its products. They then sell those products for a heavily inflated price. Because of this, they made a fuck ton of money. In fact, the only reason Farmus isn't in debt right now, with the amount of money squandered on unnecessary things, is because of the money earned from this trade route. And that monopolized trade route is now at risk due to the appearance of a certain city of monsters in the Jura forest that potentially could forge a new route to Dworgen. Farmus fears very little. But Avalon, the city of monsters, it scares them. In the throne room of the castle, in the center of the royal capital of Farmus, several people have gathered to discuss this topic. All of them are high-class figures of the kingdom. A nation of monsters? Huh. Don't make me laugh. But it's true. And this nation is located in the Jura forest. My sources also tell the same. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is that they aren't hostile to humans. Nanny. What does nanny mean? I don't know. Such were the topics the nobles in the room were talking about. However, they weren't stupid. They already knew this information. In reality, they are trying to probe the others for their information to see who will have the upper hand in the upcoming conversation. Normally, this would last for much longer, but the topic this time could be considered an emergency. Thus, the serious talks began. This new city is friendly to humanity and is quite advanced, if the weapons and armor the new champion Yom and his party is wearing is of any indicator. I've heard of them. All of their equipment is rare grade with unique grades here and there. And Yom himself has a full set of unique grade armor with a unique grade weapon too. Really? Such powerful gear was made by a nation of monsters. Unique grade weapons and armor can be considered national treasures for small kingdoms. And although Farmus doesn't consider unique weapons to be national treasures, they are still very valuable and only to be reserved for the limited few. If Rimuru heard this conversation, he would probably laugh and shit out unique grade spoons and forks just to see the looks on their faces. Not only that, I heard that country also produces incredibly fine clothes using rare silk. Not only that, the food they have is unique as well. Their staple, a small bun, is said to be especially exquisite. Meat buns for the win. Craftsmanship techniques of the highest level and access to resources that could cause wars. Imagine if we had such a thing. Greed passes through the eyes of all the figures in the room, including the Silent King. That city can pave a new route to Dworgen, there is no doubt about it. If that is true, then indeed, our financial state is at risk. Although it's small, several merchants have already left Farmus for this new nation. And the rate will almost certainly increase if nothing is done. This sends a wave of commotion through the throne room. The figure sitting on the throne that has kept silent all this time raises his hand. The other people in the room quiet down and the king begins to speak. /N, I forgot his name and I don't think anyone cares about him, so I'll just call him King. King, then what we should do is simple. We just have to remove this threat before it reaches that point. As of now, knowledge of that place isn't common. If it were to disappear, there's not much anyone could do to defend it, even if we were to. He doesn't finish his sentence, but everyone in the room can already see the king's intentions. The king is a greedy man, but he also cares for his kingdom. If he could forcefully acquire Avalon's specialties, he could gain even more money for himself and his kingdom. But my king. Surely it must be incredibly difficult to attack such a place. We simply can't spare the strength to do such a thing. Indeed. If we are to attack this nation of monsters, we must mobilize our entire military. Mobilizing the entire military to attack another country is practically begging any hostile nation to attack them. Doing so will leave them in a heavily vulnerable state. My king. Did what about the Holy Church? Someone speaks up with a suggestion. This causes excited chattering to spread through the room. Everyone knows the church is hostile to monsters. If a powerhouse like the church were to assist the kingdom. Instead, Raisin, the most trusted aide of the king and chief royal sorcerer, interjects. His old voice spreads through the hall. Raisin, we have contacted the church, but they have designated the monster country as non-hostile and will thus abstain from provoking them unless they show hostility first. What? The church did that. It was truly an unprecedented event. Even for Raisin and the king, when they first heard the church's response, they too were dumbfounded. Then, Raisin, you do not need to worry. The king has already found a solution. Although he said that, it's more like the solution found the king instead. And this solution revealed its presence. An overpowering aura that demands respect, fear, and awe. A dark figure was standing in the corner wearing nothing but black. His face was hidden by his hood, only his mouth could be seen. Spark. Dark lightning arced around his body. This lightning inspired dread in any who looked at it for too long. He smirks. The first step of his plan was complete. MCPOV. Remor right. Let's go save your lives. Students ooh. The students cheer with excitement. It's time to go meet with Ramirez again. It's been a day since I killed that sky dragon. Not much has happened since then. Because I saved nearly everyone in that city by killing that dragon, many people wanted to see me. They wanted to meet with me before finding my secrets and blackmailing me to work as a slave under them forever. Or, that's what, probably, would have happened if I let my identity leak. I mean, I really let loose that time, my aura was flaring for the world to see. The pressure of my aura was enough to level the city many times over if I let it. I didn't, since the kids were near me, but you get the idea. As a consequence, there were also many interested parties looking to make contact with the being that could emit such an aura. He saved the city from a rampaging dragon, obviously he's a good guy is their thought process, and thus not afraid I would just kill them. But thanks to the almighty power of runes, that situation that, probably, would have happened was avoided. The identity of myself and everyone who was with me was hidden. Plus, even if that event wouldn't have happened, I don't like social interaction anyway, so spare me, please. Oh, and I got a Dragon Slayer title too. I want Makoto to be my dragon if you know what I'm saying. Degree. Spark. Cough. In any case, I fucked the DRA wait no. I killed the dragon and the kids really look up to me now. If I said I was a hero, they would believe me. I didn't say that though. I know I'm not a hero, nor do I want to be one, thank you. We are currently in the S-class classroom and Makoto is standing behind the teacher's podium teaching maths to the students. Makoto, you've already learned your 5x multiplications the day before yesterday, now it's on to your 6x. For some reason, when she's the one standing up there with her hot pants and stockings, maths doesn't seem too bad. Chloe Misaka-sensei, I have a question. Makoto, why yes. Makoto stutters and Chloe asks her question. It seems she's still not entirely used to being called Misaka-sensei. She always feels giddy at being called that. I'm the same way. There's this weird feeling that appears in my chest whenever someone calls me sensei. Rimuru-sensei has a really nice ring to it. As for me, I'm sitting at the back, minding my own business. Ilya is sitting with Chloe and Alice, helping out the latter with working out her multiplications. I should ask her for help later, so I don't look like a dumbass. No, wait. My calculation abilities have greatly increased from my time as a human, I can easily solve multiplications now. Haha, I knew I didn't need school. Ranga is sleeping in my shadow as always, and Shizu is back at Avalon. Something about a disturbance in the force. I think she just watched too much Star Wars and wanted an excuse to leave and fix whatever mess she made before she came here. The students were very sad at her leaving though. They took to the new Shizu very well, and Shizu herself grew attached to the kids. That is because the kids gave her lots of delicious food. Later in the day. Rimuru, right. Let's go save your lives. Students, ooh. The students cheer with excitement. It's time to go meet with Ramiris again to get some greater spirits and fuse them to the students. I also have an interesting proposal for her. I also wonder what she's doing with Jarvis. Well, he's pretty much the ideal butler with an untiring body, he should be fine. Probably. We all head outside into the opening in front of the school. My shadow expands and Ranga jumps out of it. Ranga, master. Ranga greets me while doing that panting thing that dogs do while his tail wags at speeds Hinata can only hope to reach. Rimuru, Ranga? What's up? Ranga, please let me take us to the labyrinth. Oh, inhale sharply through teeth. Rimuru. But it's a bit far, and I don't want to sit through all that, so I was thinking of just teleporting us there. I nervously say while scratching the back of my head. I feel bad for always denying Ranga like this. Ranga, I am aware, master. But I know the location of the labyrinth this time, I can take us there. Please allow me to do so. Ranga has long learned to teleport with his affinity with space. However, because he wasn't familiar with the places I needed to go to, he couldn't teleport there. But now that he's been to the labyrinth before, that story changed. A smile spreads on my face. Rimuru, what, you can already teleport that far? You've grown, Ranga. I say as I rub Ranga all over his head and behind his ears. Ranga, oh, that's the spot, right there, right behind the ears. I catch Ilya, Mikoto, and surprisingly Chloe pouting at Ranga with looks of jealousy. Rimuru *cough*, right, then can you take us there, Ranga? Ranga, oh of course, master. Recovering from my pampering, he walks a few steps away from us and closes his eyes. His white fur waves as magicules gather around him. Right now, he's connecting to an area near his destination before actually opening the portal. A few seconds later, his yellow eyes open, glowing from the magicules. Ranga, awoo. Thank God, I placed some concealment runes around the area first, or else I would have kingdom soldiers on my ass at this point. Only meat buns can save me then. He howls and the portal flares to life. It's large enough to fit all of us through easily, and it looks decently stable, enough to stay open without support for over 5 minutes. Rimuru, amazing, Ranga. As expected of him. Teleporting is simple for high-ranking magicians in this world, but opening a portal that allows travel back and forth is something else. It's quite literally opening a tear in space and setting it up so it doesn't collapse halfway, which takes a lot of energy to do. Ranga accepts my praise as his tail wags so fast I'm surprised he didn't cause a local gale like he used to. Meanwhile, Kenya, Ryota, Gale, Alice, and Chloe are looking at Ranga with excitement. Kenya, that was so cool. That's what was on their minds as they run up and surround him with sparkling eyes. Should I have opened the portal? Due to the large distance covered by the portal, Ranga temporarily retreated into my shadow. It's not straining on him by any means, but his magicules were drained a bit, and resting in my shadow, which is soaked in my magicules, is the fastest way to recover. He should be fine in a little bit. All 8 of us stroll through the portal and find ourselves in the underground cavern that contains the entrance to the labyrinth. The afternoon sun gently shines into the cavern, lighting up the vegetation on this seemingly mythical place. I still have no idea how the fuck light reaches here. Maybe there's a picture of Jesus hidden somewhere up there. In any case, the kids are awed by such a scene. Something like this can only be found in a fantasy world. It's scenes like this that makes it seem like sometimes this world isn't all that bad. But hey, I'm not the philosophical type. Alice, hey, what are those things? Chloe, that's probably a Pipedilia butterfly. I read about it in a book. Ilya, it's a male. You can tell from those spots on its wings. Alice, it's true. The girls are talking about butterflies, plants, and other things of interest. Meanwhile, Rimuru, how do you think it will taste? Kenya, probably crunchy. Ryota, no, its insides might be different. Gale, you have to remember to cook it. Rimuru, right. You can't eat them raw. We got influenced by a certain lowly lightning dragon that eats everything, and now we're wondering how certain things would taste. They really love the manga from my world. A/N, Kana best girl of dragon maid, and no one can change my mind. I'm tempted to pop one of those butterflies into my mouth, but I got hit over the head lightly by a paper fan. Smack. Mikoto, don't eat it. Rimuru, tch, you're no fun. I pout, A/N, disgusting, while rubbing my head where the paper fan hit. The butterfly flies off. Where did she get the fan in the first place? Mikoto, you can eat whatever you want, but the kids can't. Rimuru, why? It's not like those butterflies are poisonous. I use thought communication and contact my portable Google. Rimuru, hey Ilya, are these butterflies poisonous? Ilya, a little. If a normal human eats them, they'll get a stomach ache, but nothing serious. Mikoto is looking at me with a blank face. Her eyebrows raise, silently judging me. Did she hear my conversation? No, there's no way. It was through thought communication. That's some scary intuition. Rimuru ***, they have strong bodies, it would have been fine, probably. Onwards. I hurriedly open the doors to the labyrinth and run inside to escape Mikoto's gaze, nearly missing her teasing smile. Mikoto, guys, we're going. Come on. Mikoto rallies the kids up and they all follow me through the doors. Instead of the dark corridors of the labyrinth that I was expecting, we're standing on a long bridge of light surrounded by darkness. This is the path Ramiris took us to while she was preparing for our visit last time. Rimuru, she was expecting us? A smile spreads on my lips. I wonder what she's planning now. A few minutes later. Ilya, Oniai-chan. I think. Rimuru, yeah. She's not waiting for us, and she probably doesn't even know we're here. Mikoto, is it possible though? Doesn't she know everything that goes on in her labyrinth? Rimuru, well, considering who we're talking about. Mikoto, Ilya, and I fall silent. Mikoto. Yeah, that makes sense. Ryota, Rimuru-sensei. Who is this person you're all talking about? Ryota steps forward and asks. I think about my answer. She's a haughty, narcissistic, compulsive liar, lazy, cowardly fairy that actually happens to be a fun girl to spend time with would be the most accurate description for her, but... Rimuru. She's a friend. I'll leave it just at that. For Ramiris, it's best if you meet her yourself. Ryota, so, why are we here? Mikoto, she's going to help us with your lifespan issue. This causes the students to break out in smiles. But first, I need to get her attention. Rimuru, Ramiris. Get out here before I fire off another Kamehameha. I shout out into the void. There's no way Ramiris missed that. Kenya, Rimuru-sensei can use Kamehameha. Alice, you mean from Dragso Ball? The other boys were looking at me with shining eyes. I was expecting them to know it, but I wasn't expecting Alice to also. Rimuru, wait, what did you just say? Dragso Ball? The fuck is that? Kenya, yeah. It's about this boy with a dog's tail that goes on a trip to collect the snake balls that can grant any wish. You don't know it, Rimuru-sensei? Inhales. Rimuru. You poor children. Who could be so cruel to these innocent kids to deceive them in such a way? Tears threaten to spill out of my eyes, but my thoughts get interrupted by a new voice. Ramiris, eh? Rimuru. You're already back. Her voice echoes into my head. Chloe, telepathy. It seems everyone else heard it too. Rimuru, what are you talking about? Of course, I'm back. Ramiris, I thought you were going to disappear for years. Mikoto shrugs. Mikoto, that does sound like something he would do. Rimuru, oi. That's just rude. I wouldn't just disappear. I would at least leave a note or something saying I went to get milk. Ramiris, anyway, just wait a moment. After saying that, Ramiris cut the connection and went to do her own thing. SpongeBob 12 minutes later. Ramiris, alright, I'm done. The scenery changes and we find ourselves in a place different from the circular room where I erased the elemental colossus, where the elemental colossus disappeared. This place is like a throne room, but different. Its overall architectural design is like that of a throne room is a large hall with multiple pillars supporting the roofs. However, instead of banners, I see vines, leaves, and all kinds of natural greenery coating the walls, pillars, and ceilings. The pillars themselves seem to be made from the trunks of trees that are still growing even now, while the branches hold up the ceiling. Motes of lights float around the place, adding even more to the mythical feel. Looking closer, I realize they are actually fairies. At the end of the room, a red and gold throne sits imposingly. Sitting on the throne is a certain familiar fairy. The difference in size between the two is almost comedic. She has a natural yellow golden aura around her with eyes and hair of the same color. Her fairy wings and elf-like ears are a telltale sign of her race, especially with that small size of hers. She smiles gratefully at the children who are looking up at her with awe. Right now, she is exuding nobility and grace, which surprisingly fit her well. She opens her mouth. But I interrupt. Rimuru, right, let me introduce you. Ramiris, these are the students I was talking about. I introduce the children to Ramiris before turning to face the students. Rimuru and kids, this is emergency food. Ramiris, hey. Rimuru, hey. Ramiris, hey, te nandeo. And her graceful aura was immediately shattered. We're here. The spirit dwelling. It's the place where spirits dwell. Fucking genius, I know. In any case, this is the place where the kids will call some spirits, and then I'll just fuse it with them to save their lives. Easy peasy. We got here after we all had a good chat with Ramiris. For Makoto, Ilya, and I, it was a catch-up kind of talk where we just summed up what happened while we were gone. The students on the other hand took this chance to get closer to Ramiris. I mean, they've never seen a fairy before, they are very curious. Ramiris also hopped off her throne and just started hovering all over the place. She's not used to sitting in just one spot for too long. We finished talking and she brought us here to the spirit dwelling. As I thought, it's in an entirely different space, kind of like my mirror dimension. Ramiris, Tada. What do you think? Ramiris proudly puffs her chest out, trying to get some praise out of us. The kids are easily impressed. Kenya, whoa. Ryota, so cool. Alice, it's so big. Chloe, and there's so much energy here. Gail, look at the ground. As they all pointed out, this place was indeed quite amazing. It's a large underground room, although it's more like a cave or a cavern. I say room because this place looks like it's made artificially. It's a large dome open space with the walls made out of smooth stone that looks like it's been there for centuries. Now that I think about it, this place was probably made with earth spirits. In the center is a large spire of an unidentified material. It looks to be a mix of crystal and metal, most likely magisteel. It looks very valuable, and I'm nearly certain a small fraction of this unknown metal would go for several hundred gold coins in an auction. Not to mention that this natural formation is over 100 fucking meters tall. You can also use that to understand just how large the room itself is. And finally, winding around the crystal metal formation is a wide pathway made of light. It looks quite thin, such that it could shatter easily, but it's quite sturdy. It leads to a platform of light at the top of the crystal metal formation at the center. And we are all currently standing at the edge of that platform, just where the pathway ends. Oh, and Ranga is back. Ranga * happy panting sounds *. This place is also decently lit up because of that fucking giant light source on the ceiling. Imagine diving underwater and looking up towards the sky through the rippling surface in a pool or in the ocean. It's like that. A/N, I don't know how TF people can see underwater in the ocean without goggles. Only tried doing it in a pool, but is it possible in the ocean? Honestly, this whole place is pretty cool, but I'm scared of what Ramiris would turn into if I were to compliment her now and inflate her ego to unimaginable heights. So. Rimuru, yeah, it's pretty good. Not the best, but it's good. In all honesty, the view from the hill on which Shizui's memorial is placed has a much better view over the modern fantasy city of Avalon. Looking at that view while surrounded by wisteria trees has a unique charm this place doesn't have. Ramiris, mew. Ramiris, pouting is something I didn't know I needed until now. I suddenly gain a thought and I look left and right, searching for a certain someone. Rimuru, hey, Ramiris, where's Jarvis? I haven't seen him. I wonder where he is. Ramiris, oh, him? He's busy. Meanwhile, back in the throne room, the red and golden throne sitting imposingly begins to shift. It gradually transforms back into our familiar Iron Man inhabited by a demon. Jarvis, I am never turning into any kind of chair ever again, ow, my back. Jarvis lays on the ground while rubbing his back that somehow got sore from the transformation. Anime logic, don't question it. Back in the spirit dwelling. Rimuru, right, let's get some spirits. Students, ooh. I raise my hand and cheer, and the students copy. Ilya bobs up and down, excited to see how this all comes about, while Makoto is more restrained, but you can see the curiosity sparkling in her eyes. I don't blame them, even I'm very hyped to see how this all plays out. Will everything happen the same as in canon, or will something change? Who knows? Ramiris, right, listen up. One by one, you will walk to the center of the platform and call the spirits from there. Ramiris says while pointing to the center. Chloe, what do we say? Ramiris, anything is fine. Help me, or let's play, can work. Hell, you can even insult them, you just have to get their attention. Well, if you insult them, there won't be many that would appear. Why do I feel like you're speaking from experience there? Ryota, will they even come? Ryota depressingly says. Kenya steps up to him and lightly slaps him in the back. Kenya, I'm sure they will. Ryota. Yeah. Ryota answers with a smile. Alice-sensei, they will come, right? Alice asks me for confirmation. Rimuru, yeah, don't worry. You kids are amazing, so you'll definitely call lots of spirits. What we need is a greater spirit though, not some more common lower-ranking spirits. That's the hard part. Well, even if you only call the lowest spirits, I have a backup plan, don't worry. I respond with a confident smile. These kids are otherworlders, there's no way they can't call any spirits. In the anime, hundreds of lower-ranked spirits appeared for each of them individually, so I'm not worried at all. Worst comes to worst, I'll just do it myself. Speaking of which, should I get my own spirit? Nah. I don't need one, and I don't think there's a spirit out there that could prove beneficial to me unless they are one of the divine spirits themselves. Even so, I'm an origin slime, I'm a highest tier spirit myself. If anything, I'm the one who should go around making contracts. Wait, that sounds like a good idea. Too bad, I can't be fucked. But... Rimuru, hey, Mikoto, Ilya. Do you want a spirit too? I mean, since we're here, you might as well. Mikoto blinks her eyes with surprise, completely not expecting my question. Ilya barely thinks for a second before answering. Ilya, yes. She shouts while raising her hand. I smile and pat her head. Mikoto, do I need one? Rimuru, well, it's not like you need one, but it would be nice to have. Mikoto thinks about it while placing a finger on her lip. Ramiris and the kids are curious about her answer. Ilya seemingly already knows what she will choose though. Mikoto nods her head. Mikoto, yeah. I think I'll try to call a spirit. Name, Rimuru. Race, origin slime. Protection, crest of space. Title, highest tier spirit, leader of the monsters, Oniai-chan, king of Avalon, master of headpats, procrastinator king, the nutcracker, socially awkward cringe slightly Chuyuni slime, dragon slayer, Rimuru-sensei. Manus, Iliasville. Ultimate skills, Belzebuth, Lord of Gluttony, Ahura Mazda, Lord of Creation, Scathach, Lord of Runes. Unique skills, Spatial Ruler. Intrinsic skills, Infinite Regeneration, Universal Shapeshift, Universal Sense, Enhanced Replication, Universal Thread. Extra skills, Lord's Ambition, Thought Communication, Control Natural Elements, Control Magic, Control Gravity. Resistances, Cancel Pain, Resist Melee Attack, Cancel Natural Elements, Cancel Ailments, Cancel Spiritual Attack, Resist Holy/Demonic Attack. Equipment, Yamato, Raphael, Skill Orb, Limiter Ring. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kayashin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Ben Phillips, Yami Tancho, Kenny Nielsen, Harold Martinsons. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be here until next time.